Hi all, welcome to Let's Catch Up, Interact and Share session. It's a unique opportunity to engage with the experienced professional. The experts share their insight, practical experiences, which will provide us with knowledge across various fields. Seek actionable insights that can enrich our professional and personal growth. Let me start this session with a quick story. The journey of bamboo tree. As the sun rose over the village, located between the hills and flowing rivers, there lived a humble farmer named Arjun. He spent his day working hard in the field, tending to his crops, dreaming of bountiful harvest. But what truly fueled his dream was not usual wheat or rice. It is a single ambition which he had found during morning walks to a distant mountains, that seed of bamboo tree which he has seen. Arjun planted a bamboo seed carefully, imagining a tall and beautiful tree would one day it become. However, in a first year, nothing happened. The ground remained barren, and the other villagers laughed at his commitment to see that it showed no sign of life. Feeling weight of their doubt, Arjun remembered the resilience of soil. He chose to be patient, watering the seed every day and refusing to lose hope. As the season changed, so did his determination. By the second year, still no sign of growth. The villagers' laughter grew louder. But Arjun found comfort in his morning visits to mountains where he had seen how strong winds has shaped the bamboo. Finally, third year, tiny shoot began to break through the soil. Filled with joy, Arjun could not wait to share the news. He invited villagers to see the first sign of life, encouraging them to look beyond immediate results and nurture their own dreams, no matter how impossible they seemed. As the bamboo continued to grow, faced many challenges, strong winds tried to uproot, and drought tested its strength. Yet, every time adversity struck, the bamboo bent but did not break. It learned to sway with the wind, becoming taller and deeper rooted. Yes, years later, the bamboo stood tall above the fields, reaching the sky. It was a shining example of resilience, having faced to overcome the challenges that would have uprooted a lesser plant. The bamboo tree transformed a living metaphor of resilience, growth, hope, and fearfulness. We will be interacting today with such a personality who has overcome the challenges and resilience and achieved the success and growth with the approach of fearlessness. It's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Sunil Deshmukh to all of you. Sunil Deshmukh, USCMA, is a seasoned executive and a leadership coach with over 30 years of global experience in business management. He has provided leadership to the world's largest association dedicated to advancing management accounting. He is a managing partner at C-Suite Labs LLP. He specializes executive coaching, strategy consulting, and corporate training. His impressive career includes leadership roles in major organizations across Africa, Asia, East, such as AIM International Holdings, McDonald's India, Siagen India. He has been recognized with the prestigious awards, including Global Visionary Award for Vision World Academy and IMA Champion Award from IMA USA. A passionate advocate of empowering leaders, he focuses on helping individuals and organizations to achieve full potential. Based in Pune, India, Sunil is dedicated to promoting effective leadership and sustainable business practices. A writer, publisher of the books, recently has published Deshmukh, a book in Marathi and an English edition, a story of global dreams, resilience, and leadership. Let me go ahead with his experience summary. He's recently started as an independent director with Kinetic Communication Limited, EMS and EV powertrain. He's IMA Global Chair, Emirates, freelance since July 2025 till now. He was IMA Global Chair till June 25 for 4 years and 1 month, Montevideo, New Jersey, USA. He is currently helping Christ Higher Education Leadership Institute in the Governing Council as an advisory since January 24. Competent boards, board ambassador and a strategic advisor India markets 2024 till now. C-Suite Labs LLP managing partner since April 2023. Specializes in executive workshop, leadership coaching and C-Suite executives. Talent at Work Advisory Board since January 2023. UAE. Independent consultant, strategy consultant, leadership coach, startup mentor and advisor since July 2009 from Mumbai area with some of the important clients. He earlier worked with Hexagon Nutrition Limited as an independent director, AIM International Holding, Wilson Cables Private Limited as CEO, infrastructure group, where he has actually driven the business for 7 years and 5 months out of Singapore. Indo-Jordan Chemicals Company as a managing director for about 4 years, 11 months from 2006. McDonald India, head of finance and technology, Western South region for 2 years out of Mumbai. Telecom consulting company as a finance director for 1 year in Johannesburg, South Africa. Foster's India Limited as general manager of finance, company secretary for 5 years in Mumbai, India. Several organizations he has contributed to and all over the globe. Education, the School of Positive Psychology graduate, Diploma in Applied Positive Psychology, Said Business School, University of Oxford. Oxford Advanced Management Leadership Program, OAMLP. Institute of Management Accountant, Certified Management Accountant. The Institute of Company Secretaries of India, Company Secretary Fellow Member. And Institute of Cost Accountant India, Cost Management Accountant Fellow Member. Multiple hats he is wearing, and it's really astonishing that he's doing so many things at a time and contributing to corporate as well as the social aspect. Thank you, Sunil, for joining us. Thank you so much. Hi, Sunil. Good morning, and thank you for joining in for the podcast. Okay, let's connect, interact, and share. And thank you so much for your time. Let me start the interaction with you by asking the important question of career milestones. So, along with your management graduation, company secretary education, what motivated you to pursue graduate diploma in applied positive psychology, the Oxford Management and Leadership Program? How did they enhance your approach to the management and leadership? The reason of asking, these are the two vertical fields. And how did you get motivated to go from one vertical to another?
Thank you very much, Milind. It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you very much for inviting. And I respect your inviting me and asking me the questions. And thanks for the interesting question, which pertains regarding my career. So I firmly believe in a quote which is given by Rumi. Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet, had a very famous quote. Yesterday I was clever, I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, I want to change myself. Now, I learned that quote, or I read that quote at a very early stage in my life, and I deliberated, reflected upon that. And I realized that if I want to become something, I need to change myself.
Lovely.
So the source of everything would say that starts from there. And you rightly said I am a management accountant, I am a company secretary, I am a lawyer. Why did I do my psychology graduation? And why did I do my Oxford Advanced Management program? So I'll go in a reverse direction because Oxford happened before the psychology happened.
Okay.
And that's where there is a trigger of that. So I became a managing director and a CEO of a very large fertilizer company in Middle East. I was based in Jordan. I used to work for a company called Indo-Jordan Chemicals Company. And they made me the CEO. What has happened is, when they made me the CEO, I realized that I need to have a very advanced level of leadership qualification, which I did not have.
Okay.
Of course, I worked in leadership position, but there was no formal qualification of leadership level. So I decided to go to Oxford. Oxford has got a side business school, and this was a residential program. I went there. Now, interesting part is when I went to Oxford, they provided me a psychologist to do my psychometric testing. And he was a coach, obviously. And this coach was available with me for 1 month. Whenever I want to do anything, I can go and talk to him, but there were also disciplined, systematic sessions. Now, in this process, I realized the importance of psychology and psychometric testing. So that's the beginning of my exposure to psychology, you can say that. But of course, in Oxford, I learned a lot of other things. I am very happy to inform you that I am the winner of Oxford Debate Award, which is a very prestigious award. Of course, I won it with my team. I had an Australian partner and I had an American partner. Three of us won the Oxford debate. What I learned in Oxford is basically that leadership is horizontal.
Okay.
Leadership is not only vertical.
Okay.
And the global networking and you can say the network, all those things I learned, but most importantly, I got a coach, personalized coach, who did my psychometric testing and all. Now, moving forward, so this happened somewhere in 2009, 2010, the Oxford Side Business School. I did my graduation in applied positive psychology somewhere in 2017, 2018, roughly 8 years back. So my concern or my area of interest was that when I used to run the organizations as a CEO, I would always see that people will come to me and ask advice on their personal problems.
Okay.
And when I say personal problems, not to do with their job, but maybe what education their children should do, or someone has got even once instance I remember someone came to me and said, "Sir, I have shortlisted a girl. I would like you to come and sit with me." I said, "That's your personal life." So I was always intrigued by why people come to me with the personal issues and they ask my advice or opinion. And that's where I decided that I need to learn human psychology.
Wonderful. So I think today the new education policy talks about the multidisciplinary learning, which you have started way back. So being a pioneer of it. Thank you. Question which I have, it's more towards your role in IMA. As a ex-global chair of Institute of Management Accountants, what initiatives are you most passionate about, and how do you envision the advancing of a field of management accounting by what you have seen during your tenure and as it goes ahead?
Thank you very much, and it's a question which is very close to my heart. And as you may know, I got elected as a global chairman of Institute of Management Accountants of America 2 years back, and I'm the first non-Westerner, first you can say even non-American in the 105 years history of this institute to be the global chairman of this institute, and it's privilege. I was really humbled when I got this position. When I took over as a global chairman, I took multiple initiatives, but one of the biggest initiatives I wanted to spread across the world was how the voice of management accounting be heard in the corporate world. Right. And that's where I traveled world over. I traveled at least more than 10 to 12 countries, met finance leaders in the world, and informed them, convinced them the importance of management accounting in decision making.
Right.
Which is what we call partnering, right?
Absolutely.
Business partnering or whatever. So that is one initiative I took. Other very important initiative I took is we launched the Certified Management Accounting program in a Japanese language.
Wow.
So as a principle, we always believe that English is the language of our education system, right? But I was convinced that if you want to go to Japan as a new market development, and Japanese being very close to, they like their language. So we first time launched our Certified Management Accounting program in Japanese language. That's one initiative we took under my leadership. Other initiative we took is we launched a corporate membership program. So typically in any educational institution, the individuals who get qualified, they become the members of the institute. But I brought in the concept of why not a corporate can become a member of our institute.
Okay.
And that's where I got the B2B or corporate membership program. In addition to that, I'll tell you one more which is very, very interesting. What I studied or what I observed that this young generation, Gen Z, who are our students, who are our future members, they have a different mindset. And we launched a program which is our other qualification called FMAA, Financial Management Accounting Associate, where we brought in the concept of exam on demand.
Okay.
And this was a revolution that young generation, Gen Z, they should not wait for an exam window to open once a year, twice a year, thrice a year. I am ready now, I have done my studies, I want to go and give exam today or tomorrow.
Okay.
And we launched that program for that examination. And we call it exam on demand. In addition to that, I got other initiative bringing in diversity on the board, women members on the board, young women members on the board, and of course the global diversity, geographical diversity. These are some of the initiatives which I took during my tenure.
Wow. How do you see the, post your this thing, seeds you have sown, some of the changes you have done, how it's going to be continued further? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and succession planning is a topic which is very close to your heart and my heart. But within IMA, we have a beautiful system that at any point of time we have 3 chairs planned in advance.
Okay.
So now my role as a chair emeritus is to mentor the new incoming chair.
Wow.
And also mentor the chair who is coming after him or her.
Wonderful.
So 2 in succession. And that's my role is there, and we always ensure that whatever good initiatives we have taken, they are continued in our organization.
Very nice. My question to you now on, you speak a lot about executive loneliness. What is your concept of mental stress is equal opportunity victimizer, and can you talk a bit more about executive loneliness?
Yeah, thanks for asking this question to me, Milind. I really appreciate because this is the most neglected topic in the corporate world. Executive loneliness is an equal opportunity victimizer is the term coined by me or defined by me. Year and a half back, an American journalist interviewed me on this topic, and there I used this term for the first time. And what I mean by that is that when you undergo a mental stress, it is not, the mental stress does not look at you whether you are a CEO of a company, whether you are a CXO of a company, or whether you are a general manager, or whether you are a supervisor or a manager. Mental stress applies to anybody and everybody.
Right.
But the problem in our society is that we always say that I am a CEO or I am a leader, I will never get into all this stuff. This is a mindset we carry. When I was a CEO, and I worked as a CEO for more than 10-15 years really, I also personally underwent executive loneliness. Doesn't mean I was having a psychological problem, but you are sometimes emotionally disconnected.
Absolutely.
But as a CEO or as a leader, you cannot show it to your staff, you cannot show it to your board of directors, you cannot show it to your customers, your suppliers, no one, or your shareholders also. So how do you manage this executive loneliness? That's the concept I brought in.
Okay.
And my intention of bringing this topic to the awareness of our audience is that please do not neglect executive loneliness.
Got it.
It's a topic which needs to be discussed. You can go and discuss with any of your friends, any of your colleagues, and if you do not have anyone to talk to, go to a mentor or go to a coach, but do not neglect executive loneliness. And simple way is, how do you know that you are going through an executive loneliness? Many times we are not aware that we have a problem, or we disown the problem.
All right.
Simple tips I'll give you. If you are working unnecessarily extra hours, you may be undergoing executive loneliness.
Okay.
if your food habits are getting changed substantially, you are eating too much or eating too less, you might be getting through executive loneliness. Or you are unnecessarily shouting on the people, either in the office or within your family or on your driver, you may be going through executive loneliness. Or when you go to a gym and instead of running for 30 minutes on a treadmill, you start running for 1 hour on a treadmill, you might be going through an executive loneliness.
Absolutely.
So these are some of the symptoms. Go and talk to a person, a trusted person, maybe a neutral person, seek the solution, and if you are not able to find out the right solution, obviously you can go to a mentor or coach. So this is what I mean.
Wonderful. So I pick up a few points. One, it's a equal victimizer is something which I've understood. Number two, track the abnormality
Yes.
of any actions which you're doing, because you have started having one more person inside you.
Yep.
So maybe having to observe yourself is more critical, and accepting it and going ahead is one more important point which you mentioned.
Absolutely, and that's what we call vulnerability. And
Absolutely.
coaching, we are all vulnerable. Do not hesitate that you are going through an issue. Talk to someone, open up your mind, and get out of that problem.
Thank you. Sunil, next on having worked across diverse regions like Africa, Asia, West, East, both, how do you look at the differences in our cultural influences onto the leadership and a team management?
Yeah, thanks. Culture eats strategy for breakfast is a famous quote. Many people say that it is by Peter Drucker. And I have lived that quote really. I have worked in multiple cultures, lived in more than 5 countries, traveled to more than 50 countries in the world. What I learned is leadership is not the one size fits all as far as the culture is concerned. And what I also learned that in different cultures you have to adopt different style of leadership.
Okay.
But it's not that easy to adopt because you need to understand the culture for that. And when we talk about the culture, it means multiple things for multiple people.
Absolutely.
And what happens is there's a difference between explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. And culture comes from a tacit knowledge. That's why you have to experience it. I'll give you an example. For example, when I lived in Africa, I needed to be a different type of leader. I needed to trust people. And there's a famous Dutch proverb which says that trust comes on foot and lives on horseback.
Absolutely.
It takes time to create the trust, but you can break the trust. So how do you develop a trust in a different environment, different culture? It takes time. You need to have a lot of patience for that. So I learned that. Other important aspect of culture is like, for example, you go in Asia, let's say Singapore, China side. Hierarchy is respected.
Absolutely.
Age is respected.
Yes.
Now you are totally in a different ball game, right? How do you manage that culturally? People sometimes do not speak in the meetings because they just respect the boss. So then you have to have one-on-one conversation with the people. Other thing I will tell you, how do you motivate people in different culture also differs. We as a management student, you and me, Lynn and everyone, we all know that we think that money is the biggest motivator in the world. I will tell you by my experience, in a very difficult and hard way, I learned money is not the motivator in every single culture. It differs. When I went to Singapore, when I lived in Singapore or China, I see that or I saw that money is not the only motivator. There are different motivators. So you need to understand. So biggest issue in a cultural adaptability is that you need to change yourself first to understand that culture. And then you need to start accordingly. And I always say that leadership is a horizontal leadership and not vertical leadership. Everywhere you cannot, other example I always give is that you cannot demand respect. You have to command the respect.
Absolutely.
And that's again a cultural thing. And that's where I thought cultural adaptability, and in today's diverse world, multinational world, we need to understand how to behave. And I also call a concept called cultural competence.
Right.
We need to create own cultural competence to be successful in any organization.
Wonderful. I pick up a very important point that tacit knowledge of a culture needs to be leadership aspect which you need to learn, because that's going to align you better in the local leadership or the culture where you're going to be planning to play the role of leader, or you're trying to install that role of leader.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sunil, next on a sustainable business practice. You are an advocate for effective leadership and sustainable business practices. What are some of the best sustainable business practices you foster or you suggest to the leaders?
Yeah, thanks, William. And this is the most relevant question in today's world. I always say that sustainability is not a nice to have, it is a strategic imperative in today's world. As a leader, you must understand that sustainability is very, very important from a survival of the planet, survival of the organization as well. And as you may know that United Nations has come out with Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah.
And there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And all United Nations member countries have agreed that we will achieve these Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And they are only 5 years in waiting. And I'll tell you, we are nowhere there.
Okay.
The issue is that sustainability is everyone's problem, not only political problem or not only someone else's.
Absolutely.
Under sustainability, we talk environmental, social, and governance. And you know, when we talk about environment, we talk about environment, global warming, water problems, floods, earthquakes, and all those things. So that is a responsibility of even the corporate world, not only the governments. Of course, governments play a bigger role as far as the environmental thing is concerned. But under social and governance, I think we have a huge contribution to make as a corporate leaders. I always advocate that as a corporate leader, we should include sustainability in our strategy at the beginning of the year. Like we do at the beginning of the year, a strategy document, a budget planning process. We need to get involved discussing ESG as a strategy aspect. Right. Not as a tick box and compliance, but as a part and parcel of your way of doing the business. In a sustainability, particularly in today's world, there is concept of scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3 compliance. And now scope 3 compliance has become mandatory for large and mandatory companies.
Yes.
How do we ensure the scope 3 compliance? Unless you have it in your business strategy, you will not be able to do it. But I'm very happy to inform here, based on my experience, I meet multiple leaders. India as a country is much ahead of the many countries in the world as far as sustainability awareness and compliance is concerned. And I'm not talking only about the listed companies on the stock exchange, but many small and medium-sized companies on their own adopting the sustainability as good practice. And the young generation is very well aware of all these things. So as a leader, our duty is to ensure that we follow sustainability in spirit as well as in real practical execution from a strategic point of view.
Wonderful. Being a part of that year beginning strategy, ESG being part of it becomes more actionable and measurable too.
Yeah, and other very important to add that sustainability is not only a top-down approach.
Absolutely.
It is top-down as well as bottoms-up.
Bottoms-up.
Entire organization need to take the ownership of sustainability, but of course the top leadership need to put a little bit pressure, move it fast, and ensure that it goes.
Right. Thanks. Sunil, you have written this book. I am showing it to the camera. Deshmukh is the name of the book, and I am really thrilled that he has got a forward from Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, one of the probably for many of them he is one of the greatest on the earth. So, what inspired you to write this book? Number two, what are important themes in this book which you would like to convey to all of us, and what experiences which you have had pre and post this book?
Yeah, thanks. And little bit emotional. It's my personal life story. It's not an autobiography. It's more of a memoir, my life journey. I'll tell you the trigger was 2 years back when I was in San Antonio in Texas, in front of 1,000 people, leaders of the finance fraternity all across the world, assembled for a conference, global conference, and they announced my name. And I was sitting in the first row on the chair. And when I was walking from my chair all the way to the stage, what came in my mind and my thoughts while walking those 2 minutes, that was the trigger of my book really.
Wow.
I was reflecting upon that, who am I? What I have done in my life to go and become the global chair of an American institute. And it started from there.
Okay.
And of course, there is some background to that. My father, who was a school teacher, always wanted me to write a book about my life story, which I will always laugh at him and say that, Dad, I used to call him Baba in Marathi. I have not done something that great to write a book.
Okay.
And he will say, you do not know what you are saying. But unfortunately, he's not there. He's no more to look at the book. Of course, he was my great inspiration. So when I started writing the book, it's a journey of a small town management accountant. I was the first management accountant in my small town in Maharashtra. So I got respect and recognition because of my management accounting qualification. And then all the way how I became the global chairman of management accounting, biggest management accounting institute in the world. It's a journey. But it's a journey of failure. It's a journey of risk taking. It's a journey of resilience. It's a journey of taking decisions many times with emotional attachment. And it's a journey of living across the world and influencing the people with a good heart and good intention. I am not saying that this entire journey is everything nice, positive, successful. There are a lot of ups and downs. Intention was, by reading this book, if I am able to inspire and motivate even one person, I have done my job.
Lovely.
Other thing which I must tell you, Milind, and this is one of the skill I talk and you talk and we talk, storytelling.
Right.
Storytelling is my very favorite area in my life, and I have become what I am today, from a chief financial officer to the CEO to the global chairman. I give a lot of credit to my ability to tell a story of what I do and how I do. I think this is a testament of my storytelling to the world at large, that I have now told my story in this book. So please read it, and if you do not like it, please send it to me that you have not liked it.
Now, I am going to ask you one more question on Dr. Marshall Goldsmith.
Ah.
Yeah, one of the top coaches in the world, being ranked as in top 5. So how is he able to do this forward of your book?
That's an interesting question, and I love taking challenges in my life, right? That's a risk-taking ability. So when I wrote my Marathi, so this same book was written in Marathi first, in my mother tongue, but then when I decided to write it in English, the first name came to my mind for writing the foreword was Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. I must tell you or the audience that I am the lucky few. I had an opportunity to work with Marshall Goldsmith in 1 or 2 coaching assignments, where Marshall coached the CEO and I coached the CFO.
Okay.
But I met Marshall only once in my lifetime. But when I was writing this book, I wrote an email to Marshall. Hey Marshall, you remember me? And I'm writing my book and blah blah blah. I would like you to write a foreword for this. And guess me, there was no response to the email for a few days, and I was getting more nervous and tense. Then after 15 days, I get an email from Marshall response. Hey Sunil, thank you very much. I am definitely interested in writing a foreword to you. I would like to read your book before writing the foreword.
Wow.
So I sent a draft soft copy of my book to Marshall and his office. They read the book. Again, there was a lull for almost a month. I was again getting nervous. And book was almost given for the printing. And I was about to write a reminder. Writing a reminder to Marshall Goldsmith is not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was about to write a reminder, and then I suddenly see in my email that there is already a email has come from Marshall Goldsmith's office, and there is a foreword given to me to my book. And I'm very thankful to Marshall and the entire team of Marshall Goldsmith Stakeholder Center Coaching for providing this foreword to me. I really respect that. Thank you.
Absolutely. This story is like dream coming true. Thank you. So then the last question comes to you. You have written a full chapter on mastering the power of sense making. Can you please elaborate this concept for our audience, and how does today's leaders need to adapt this concept of mastering the power of sense making?
Yeah, thanks, Milin. So I have written a full chapter in a book which is published by Oxford professors and alumni, and the name of book is Mastering the Power of You as an individual. And in that book, I have written a research-based, full-fledged chapter on a topic called Mastering the Power of Sense Making. Now, sense making and common sense are two different things.
Okay.
So let's not confuse on that. We always talk that, hey, we have common sense, I have common sense, but sense making is a little bit different. And when I talk about sense making, I am talking a little bit more to do with the corporate world.
Right.
Now, there is a American behavioral scientist by name Carl Weick. Carl Weick brought in this concept of sense making few years back, which, to be frank, I was not aware. So when I went to Oxford University for my advanced leadership management program, and when I was working there and doing a lot of multiple things and all those things, the dean of Oxford University Side Business School, he came to me one day and he told me, hey Sunil, do you know what approach you are following when you are working in the corporate world? So I said, yeah, generally leadership is that. He said, no. Your entire approach to the management and leadership is approach of sense making.
Okay.
And Mr. Lalit Johri is the person who was the dean at that point of time. He has also given forward to my book.
Okay.
And so when Lalit told me about the concept of sense making, to be frank, I was not aware of sense making as a concept. But then I started researching it, working on it and all those things. So eventually I wrote a chapter on mastering the power of sense making. So when I say sense making, what does it mean is that in today's world, it's very complex.
Okay.
A leader's job has become so difficult. A leader needs to continuously keep making sense of what's happening around him or her.
Okay.
And the role of sense maker is to ensure that by making sense of what's happening around you in external environment, in the internal environment as well, how do you take the decisions and how those decisions become more adaptable, more successful. I'll tell you a small example. Let's suppose you're going for a trekking, you're going on a trek. When you go on a trekking, you carry with you a lot of tools, resources, let's say your satellite phone, your compass, your water bottle, whatever, right? And you are leading a team with you. And let's assume you go on the top, you almost reach at the peak, and suddenly the weather changes. Okay. Your phone stops working. You are not able to even see what's happening in front of you because there is a fog, there is a rain, there is a snow. Imagine that your every single instrument or resources or tools have stopped working. Now you are a team leader. You are, let's say, 5-10 people with you. You are on the top. How do you make sense of what is going to happen next?
Okay.
Now that is the concept of sense making.
Okay.
So you have to connect the dot. You have to apply your tacit knowledge. You have to apply your experiences. You have to play with your intuition. You have to motivate your people to stay on the ground, and you have to ensure that your teams comes out successful at the end of that trekking. That is sense making. And we are all able to do the sense making, but I am telling to the world at large that sense making is a tool which you can adopt in the corporate world by following certain practices. And for that you can create a peer group. I wrote an article in LinkedIn last month that how today's leaders needs to think like a diplomat.
Okay.
Now that is the sense making, right? The tariff is such a big issue in today's world.
Yeah.
How does the leader understand how the tariff impacts me? No, we don't teach leaders on tariff and all those type of things. Or same happened with the COVID. When we had a lockdown, there was no precedence of lockdown. So this is what I talk about sense making. And if you are more interested in knowing about this topic, please read the book, Mastering the Power.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. So, Sunil, thanks a lot for your time. We touched very important topics, and I'm sure there will be a valuable takeaway for many who would listen to us, see us in this podcast. Looking forward to many more of this kind. Yeah. And once again, a big thank you to you.
Thank you very much, Milin. Always a pleasure talking to you and meeting you.
Thank you.